The seconds are out. The crowd is waiting. The boxers are getting ready to battle. Time for another edition of the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast with your presenter, Greg Rashid.
All right, sweaty clock. This is Greg Rashid with another edition of the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. Heard it by so many people at their convenience on various platforms throughout the internet, but a lot of folks listen every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Mountain Time on KUHSdenver.com and Denver, Colorado, created by the one and only Henry Archuleta. And I'm coming back to Denver at some point sooner than you think. But anyway, I'm here in Thailand, loving it. If you're new to the program, I can't believe I've been here for going on 9 years. But anyway, we're going to have a great show as we're always doing. What we do in the program, if you're new, on Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast, we do fantasy fights. If you're listening, you're a boxing fan and you love boxing. So we do things like what would happen if Muhammad Ali fought Jack Dempsey, what would happen if Tyson Fury fought Mike Tyson? And we use computer games, card dice games, a little bit of everything, mix them up, and we create these fantasy fights. And today's fantasy fight is a request. This is something that I know a lot of folks have thought about in the past, so what if? And I'm talking about what would happen if these two Brits, Frank Bruno and Anthony Joshua, got together. And we're going to have that fight on here today, created by Title Bout 2 PC game. But before we do that, we're going to have first Felicia come on and talk about this week in boxing history. And then we're going to have the Hall of Famer himself, Sonny Huff, do the commentary for the fight. So take it away right now, Felicia, on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
Greetings, my friends. This is your girl Felicia, coming at you with all the energy of a freshly rung bell, delivering your weekly dose of boxing history for July 12th through July 18th. Grab your popcorn, or better yet, your gloves, because we're stepping back in time to some absolute gems from the sweet science. These aren't just dusty dates. They're stories of sweat, strategy, heartbreaks, comebacks, and a few punches that still echo today. Let's dive in. July 12, 1975. Jose Napolés retains his welterweight crown. On this day, the legendary Cuban-Mexican warrior Jose Napolés, also known as mantequilla, that's butter for you non-Spanish speakers, because his style was smoother than a fresh jar of the stuff, retained his world welterweight title with a hard-fought 15-round decision over the tough Armando Muniz. Napolés was a defensive master with lightning hands and the kind of ring IQ that made opponents look like they were swinging at shadows. Muniz came to brawl, but Mantequilla buttered him up and slid away with the win. Fun fact, Napolés defended that title a ridiculous number of times. Talk about being the king of the division. If boxing had a too smooth for his own good award, he'd win it in a walk. July 13th, 2001. Mickey Ward versus Emmanuel Augustus, fight of the year. Chaos. Oh, honey, this one was a war. Irish Mickey Ward, the gritty blue-collar hero from Lowell, Massachusetts, you know him from that Hollywood movie with Mark Wahlberg, took on the wild, unpredictable Emmanuel Augustus, nicknamed the Drunken Master, because his style looked like a bar fight after last call. They went 10 rounds of pure, non-stop action, trading bombs in what many called the fight of the year. Ward edged it out by unanimous decision, but both left everything in the ring. Augustus was a cult favourite for his unorthodox, flashy moves. Think Matrix meets a tipsy uncle at a family reunion. Ward's body shots? Devastating. This fight had more drama than a soap opera and reminds us why we love boxing. Two warriors leaving it all on the canvas. July 14th, 2007. Paul Williams shocks Antonio Margarito. Enter the Punisher, Paul Williams, this tall, awkward southpaw with a punch output like a machine gun, dethroned the powerful Antonio Tijuana Tornado Margarito for the WBO welterweight title in a thrilling 12-round unanimous decision. Margarito was the favourite, known for his iron chin and pressure, but Williams threw over 100 punches per round on average. Yes, per round, and outworked him like he was auditioning for the role of most relentless fighter alive. Williams got cut over the eye but kept firing. It was a masterclass in volume punching that turned expectations upside down. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the lanky guy with endless gas in the tank. July 15th, 1931. Kid Chocolate makes history for Cuba. Now this is legendary. Kid Chocolate, Eligio Sardinas, the flashy Cuban phenom with speed, power and charisma for days, became Cuba's very first world boxing champion. He stopped Benny Bass in the 7th round to claim the junior lightweight title in Philadelphia. Bass was a Hall of Famer, but Chocolate dismantled him. Left eye closed, chin split, the works. Kid Chocolate was a superstar even before the win, stylish, handsome, and a national hero back home. Imagine the parties in Havana that night. He put Cuba on the boxing map forever. If there was ever a fighter who made boxing look like art, it was this guy. July 16th, 2011. Kevin Mitchell claims Intercontinental gold. British fans, stand up. Kevin Mitchell defeated the undefeated John Murray for the vacant WBO Intercontinental lightweight title in a Battle of Britain showdown. Mitchell, known for his slick power and that vicious left uppercut, stopped the pressure fighter Murray in a high-stakes scrap. Murray came forward relentlessly, but Mitchell's precision and timing carried the day. It was one of those classic UK domestic dust-ups that produce fireworks, pride of two cities on the line. Mitchell looked sharp in what felt like a career resurgence moment. July 17th, 1974. Bob Foster's controversial draw. Light heavyweight king Bob Foster retained his world title in a 15-round draw against Argentina's Jorge Ahumada. Foster was a towering puncher with a jab that could stop traffic, but this one got messy. Some thumbing accusations, a controversial scoring, and Foster not at his most aggressive best. Still, he kept the belts, WBA, WBC, and the ring. Ahumada even dropped him at one point. These old-school marathon fights were like chess with gloves, strategic, grueling, and full of drama. Foster eventually retired after this, leaving a massive legacy. July 18th, 1951. Jersey Joe Walcott, oldest heavyweight champ at the time. And saving one of the best for last, Jersey Joe Walcott became the oldest heavyweight champion in history at age 37 by knocking out Ezard Charles in the 7th round with a picture-perfect left hook. Walcott had been denied the title multiple times before, losing controversial decisions and grinding through tough eras, but perseverance paid off big time. That KO is still iconic. His record stood for over 40 years until George Foreman smashed it at 45. Walcott proved you're never too old to chase and land your dreams. Talk about aging like fine wine. Or should I say, fine boxing gloves. Phew! What a week in boxing lore. Titles won, legends born, and rivalries that still get fans arguing in comment sections decades later. Boxing isn't just about the punches, it's about the heart, the history, and those you can't make this up moments. Before I sign off, my beautiful friends, I just want to say how much your girl Felicia truly loves each and every one of you. You are the reason I keep digging up these stories and sharing them with so much joy. Your support means the world to me. And yes, I read every single email you send, every encouraging word, every fight suggestion, every funny meme or story from your own boxing journey. They make my day brighter than a ring under the lights. Keep them coming. I cherish them all. Until next time, stay strong, throw straight, and keep that chin up, both in the ring of life and in the actual ring. This is Felicia, your boxing historian with love. Peace.
Hi, this is legendary Hall of Fame announcer Sonny Huff. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the iconic Wembley Stadium in London, where the atmosphere is absolutely electric under these bright lights. The roar of the crowd is shaking the foundations of this historic venue as two British heavyweight titans prepare to collide in what promises to be a barn burner for the ages. Before we get to the action, let's take a moment to honor the histories of these two warriors. Frank Bruno, the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, is a true British boxing legend. Born in Hammersmith, London, Bruno rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most beloved figures in the sport during the 1980s and 1990s. Standing 6'3" with a devastating right hand that could fell trees, Bruno compiled an impressive record filled with knockouts. He challenged for world titles multiple times, famously going toe-to-toe with the likes of Mike Tyson in two epic encounters. Though he fell short against Iron Mike, Bruno's heart, charisma, and raw power earned him a place in the hearts of fight fans worldwide. Even in retirement, he remained a larger-than-life personality, known for his infectious smile and unbreakable spirit. Tonight, at Wembley, the old lion returns, looking to prove that age is just a number and that one more magical night could be his. His opponent, Anthony Joshua, is the modern standard-bearer of British heavyweight boxing. The Olympic gold medalist from 2012 exploded onto the professional scene with blistering speed, technical precision, and knockout power that has seen him capture multiple world titles, including the unified WBA, IBF, and WBO belts. Hailing from Watford, Joshua stands 6'6" with a physique sculpted like a Greek god and a work ethic that is second to none. He's overcome adversity, including a shocking upset loss earlier in his career, only to bounce back stronger and reclaim his throne. Joshua brings elite athleticism, a thunderous jab, and the ability to finish fights in spectacular fashion. This is a clash of generations. Bruno's old-school grit and power versus Joshua's polished championship pedigree and youthful explosiveness. The fighters are in the ring now. The national anthem has faded, and the bell is about to sound for round one. Here we go. Round one. Joshua comes out sharp, dictating the early pace with his long jab, circling and looking to control the center of the ring. Bruno is patient, stalking forward, trying to cut off the distance and set up that big right hand. Joshua misses a few probing shots, but keeps the pressure on, pinning Bruno against the ropes momentarily. Bruno clinches to buy time and reset. Back in the center, they exchange, but it's Joshua who lands the cleaner work late in the round, snapping Bruno's head back with a solid jab. The crowd is buzzing already as the bell rings. Joshua takes the opening stanza. Round two. Joshua starts fast again, landing a crisp combination that visibly stuns Bruno early. The big man from Hammersmith shakes it off, but Joshua is swarming. A powerful uppercut snaps Bruno's head, followed by a crushing combination that drops Bruno to the canvas. The referee counts, but Bruno beats the count at 9, showing that legendary durability. The crowd erupts. Joshua presses the advantage, landing hooks and more combinations, dropping Bruno again later in the round with another thunderous flurry. Bruno rises at 8, but Joshua is in full control, landing clean shots that have Bruno's legs looking shaky. Bruno tries to rally with a hard cross late, buckling Joshua's knees momentarily, but Joshua closes strong with jabs. What a round for the younger champion. Round 3. Bruno comes out with renewed fire, taking the fight to Joshua. He lands a heavy hook that opens a cut on Joshua's left cheek, The blood flows and the arena roars as Bruno follows up with combinations, rocking Joshua badly. Bruno is landing clean crosses and jabs, backing Joshua up. The referee warns Bruno for a headbutt, but the pressure continues. Joshua manages to land a cross of his own and clinch to survive. But Bruno is clearly the aggressor here, landing hooks and putting Joshua on the defensive. The cut is being attended to between rounds, but Bruno has swung the momentum. Round 4, Bruno keeps the pressure high, clinching repeatedly to wear Joshua down and control the range. Joshua breaks free and lands a sharp combination, but Bruno responds with body work and uppercuts. They trade in the center, with Bruno landing a big hook and uppercut that has the crowd chanting his name. Joshua clinches again, but Bruno continues the stalk and land. It's a grinding round with both men showing their experience. Joshua lands some late work, but Bruno's forward pressure defines the stanza. Round 5. Joshua reasserts himself, circling and using his jab effectively. He lands a clean cross that scores big, then later unloads a hook that nearly drops Bruno into the ropes. The power is evident as Bruno staggers. Joshua follows with more hooks and crosses, landing heavy leather that has Bruno in trouble. Bruno tries to counter, but Joshua's movement and accuracy are shining through. Another strong round for the Olympic gold medalist as he regains control. Round 6. Bruno bounces back, landing solid combinations and jabs that keep Joshua at bay. He's cutting off the ring and landing hooks to the body and head. Joshua looks a bit fatigued, but tries to counter. Bruno continues his assault with more hooks, pinning Joshua at times. The veteran is showing why he's a legend, outworking Joshua in this session and landing the heavier shots. Round 7. Joshua starts moving well again, landing uppercuts and crosses that open a nasty cut over Bruno's left eye. Blood is flowing, and Joshua capitalizes with combinations. Bruno clinches and tries to rally, but Joshua's precision is telling. A late combination from Joshua lands clean, and both men are showing the wear and tear of a true war. Joshua edges this one. Round 8. Back and forth they go. Bruno lands a heavy hook, but Joshua responds with uppercuts and hooks of his own. They trade in close quarters with clinches and warnings for holding. Bruno lands a jab late, but Joshua counters effectively. Both men are pouring everything into these championship rounds. A very even round in a fight that is living up to the hype. Round 9. Joshua explodes with a series of hooks and jabs that rock Bruno badly, nearly dropping him into the ropes. The power shots keep coming as Joshua lands clean and backs Bruno up. Bruno counters with a solid cross late, but Joshua's volume and accuracy dominate the round. The cut on Bruno is worsening, and Joshua looks like he's pulling away. Round 10. Joshua continues the assault with uppercuts and hooks, stunning Bruno again. Bruno fights back with a big uppercut that stuns Joshua in return. But Joshua recovers quickly and lands more combinations, pinning Bruno in the corner and rocking him once more. The pace is relentless from both, but Joshua's cleaner work stands out. Round 11. Joshua lands heavy crosses and combinations, scoring clean and hurting Bruno. Bruno counters with a hook, but Joshua keeps coming, landing more crosses that have Bruno in real trouble late. The resilience from both is incredible, but Joshua is clearly the man in control heading into the final round. Round 12, the championship round. Joshua lands an uppercut and keeps the pressure on, pinning Bruno in the corner. Bruno fights back with combinations, but Joshua lands a final stinging jab and hook that stuns Bruno as the bell sounds. What a fight! Both men embrace in the center of the ring to a thunderous ovation from the Wembley crowd. These warriors left everything in the ring tonight. The judges have rendered their decision. Matthew Podgorski scores it 116 to 110. Carol Castellano has it 116 to 108. And Patrizio Oliva sees it 116 to 111. For the winner, by unanimous decision, Anthony Joshua. I will now return you to our Bangkok studios. This is the legendary Hall of Famer, Sonny Huff, until we meet again on these airways. Remember, it is always a great day when it is sunny.
All right. Little Sonny Huff there. So it's always a great day when it's sunny. Oh, his new motto. But anyway, we're going to get to Malcolm and Ella now. And what? Oh, they have, Sonny Huff has a commercial? Oh, goodness. Let's hear what this commercial is on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. And then we'll get to Malcolm and Ella talking about who's the face of 2026 boxing. So let's hear this.
Hi, this is the legendary Hall of Famer, Sonny Huff. Listen up, chaps. Whether you're stepping into the ring like Anthony Joshua or just trying to keep everything in place during your next training session, you need protection that can take a beating. That's why I'm here to tell you about the all-new Iron Cup Pro Jockstrap, the only jockstrap with heavyweight championship support. This bad boy is built like a tank. Triple reinforced pouch? Check. Sweat-wicking fabric that laughs at 12 rounds of heat? You bet. And the waistband? It's got more grip than Frank Bruno in his prime. No more slipping, sliding, or unexpected knockouts downstairs. I've seen fighters get dropped by body shots, but with the Iron Cup Pro, your most valuable assets stay protected from low blows, uppercuts, and those awkward gym moments when you're shadowboxing a little too enthusiastically. Fellow legends in the locker room are raving. Sonny, this thing held up better than my chin in the 10th round. Available in sizes from lightweight to super heavyweight, because some of us are carrying championship belts down there, too. So head to your nearest sporting goods store or visit IronCupPro.com right now and use promo code SonnyHuff for 20% off and a free pair of extra thick compression shorts. That's right, double the protection, double the swagger. If the legendary Hall of Famer Sonny Huff endorses a product, you know it's good.
Welcome to the debate. So last year, a fighter who just definitively lost his undisputed crown made well over $130 million.
Right, which is just staggering.
It really is. And meanwhile, an undefeated, historically perfect heavyweight champion vacated his belts just to get a fight made. I mean, the old rules of boxing are entirely broken.
Oh, for sure.
If you look back at the history of this sport, it almost always functioned like a solar system with a single, undeniable sun at its center, right? You had Muhammad Ali, whose cultural and athletic gravity just pulled in the entire globe.
Yeah, or Mike Tyson in the 80s and 90s.
Exactly. And more recently, you had that binary star system of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. But as we sit here in mid-2026, looking at the latest industry reports and financial data, that old solar system is just gone.
It's completely fractured.
Right. We are looking at a deeply fractured multipolar ecosystem. So today, we're tackling a central question. In this new era, who is the true face of boxing, and by exactly what metric do we crown them?
I mean, it is the most fascinating question in sports business right now. Precisely because those old metrics are obsolete. We are trying to measure a completely new universe with antique rulers.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
The fundamental mechanics of how, attention is monetized have just shifted beneath our feet.
Exactly. And the tension at the heart of our discussion today really comes down to how we define the essence of the sport itself. So I will be arguing that the true face of boxing is and must always be defined by technical supremacy, pound-for-pound legacy, and undisputed championships.
The purest view.
Right. I'm looking at the purists' pantheon. Fighters like Naoya Inoue and Oleksandr Usyk, who represent the absolute pinnacle of the craft.
Well, and I will be arguing that boxing is, before anything else, a prize-fighting business. And the most important prefix there is prize.
Naturally.
So Therefore, the true face of the sport is dictated by economic sovereignty, digital reach, and streaming gravity. I'm looking at the revenue titans like Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, and digital disruptors like Jake Paul.
Okay, so let's lay out our positions so we know exactly where the battle lines are drawn here. For me, boxing's core essence is athletic perfection. It is the sweet science.
Right.
So the face of that science must be the athlete who represents its highest technical evolution. When we look at the data from 2025 and 2026, two names stand entirely apart from the rest of the pack in terms of pure mastery.
Inoue and Usyk.
Exactly. First, Naoya the Monster, Inoue. He currently sits at a flawless 33-0 with 27 knockouts. He's a super bantamweight who achieved undisputed status in 2 different weight classes, and he is the current consensus pound-for-pound #1.
And he's doing things in the lighter weight classes that are just, well, statistically anomalous.
Yep, his knockout ratio alone defies the historical norms for his division. Generally, the lower the weight, the lower the knockout percentage.
Right, but he fights like a heavyweight trapped in a smaller frame.
Precisely. He fundamentally breaks the math of his own division. And alongside him, we have Oleksandr Usyk. At 25-0 with 16 knockouts, Usyk has orchestrated a complete heavyweight renaissance.
Which is incredible to watch.
It really is. He is a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion, and that's a feat that has only ever been achieved by Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what makes Usyk the face of the sport's legacy right now is his recent decision to vacate his hard-won sanctioning body belts. He vacated the major world titles, the WBC, WBA, and IBF.
Wait, really? He just dropped all of them?
Yeah, essentially telling the sport's bureaucratic system that he doesn't need their hardware to prove his worth. He vacated them to allow the division to keep moving while he prepares for a historic last dance in the U.S.
That is definitely the move of a sovereign athlete.
Right. He is saying, I do not need the governing bodies to validate my status. My legacy is the validation. That level of technical mastery and acute historical awareness is what defines the true face of the sport.
Look, I hear the romance in that argument, and I genuinely appreciate the profound athletic respect you have for those fighters. I mean, they are generational talents.
They are.
But technical perfection means absolutely nothing if it doesn't translate into massive capital and global eyeballs. We have to strip away the romanticism here. The face of boxing is the entity generating mega event revenue, because revenue is what sustains the whole ecosystem.
Okay, but
let's look at Saul Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he lost his undisputed crown, but in 2025, Canelo earned $137 million.
which is a massive number, sure.
It makes him the second highest paid athlete globally, trailing only Cristiano Ronaldo. He commands the vital Hispanic demographic, which is the economic bedrock of the sport in North America. I mean, they buy the pay-per-views, they travel to the fights, they sustain the live gates.
But he is no longer the undisputed champion. He was dethroned.
It doesn't matter. The economy of boxing orbits him regardless of what piece of leather and metal is wrapped around his waist. And if we look at the fighter who actually beat him, Terence Crawford, the argument for economic and reach sovereignty becomes even stronger.
How so?
Well, Crawford defeated Canelo in front of 41 million global viewers on Netflix. 41 million.
Yeah, the streaming numbers were huge.
And then you have the digital disruptors. Jake Paul drew a staggering 108 million viewers against Mike Tyson.
108 million.
Exactly. And you have Ryan Garcia, who, despite his professional turmoil, holds a $50 million net worth and 12.9 million Instagram followers. They represent peak modern attention. In a prize-fighting business, the face is the one who controls the prize and commands the attention.
I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective. If we accept your premise, we are saying that the face of the sport doesn't actually need to be the best at the sport.
Well,
I look at Canelo's current status, and I see a legacy luxury brand. He is the Louis Vuitton of boxing.
the Louis Vuitton?
Yeah. When you buy Louis Vuitton today, you aren't necessarily paying for the highest quality leather or the most innovative stitching in the world anymore. You're paying for the interlocking LV logo. You're paying for a heritage brand.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Canelo is living off the prestige established in previous years of dominance, rather than current technical supremacy. How can the face of boxing be someone who just definitively lost their undisputed status?
Because the audience, the millions of people actually swiping their credit cards and paying the bills, they dictate who the face is, not the boxing historians keeping scorecards in their living rooms.
But the historians actually understand the craft. Sure, but when Canelo lost to Crawford, the purists immediately claimed his era was over. But what actually happened mechanically? Their 2025 clash at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas generated a $47.2 million live gate.
Which is historic.
It is the third highest gate in the entire history of the sport. The loss did not diminish Canelo's drawing power one bit. The consumer demand remained absolutely rigid. He is a sovereign economic entity. He doesn't need belts to be the face because he is the franchise. Now, if you're a longtime boxing fan listening to this right now, you're probably yelling at your dashboard, asking why money is somehow overtaking mastery in this conversation. I mean, it strips the sport of its soul.
It's a business.
But let's pivot to Usyk for a moment. Usyk possesses a gravity that mere capital cannot buy. He has cultural resonance as a symbol of national resilience for Ukraine. When he fights, it feels like history is being written in real time.
He does have that aura, yes.
Canelo fighting Christian Mbiliad in Riyadh is a massive financial transaction, sure, but Usyk fighting is a cultural event. Doesn't the face of the sport need to carry that kind of historical weight rather than just a heavy wallet?
Sure, Usyk makes for a great sports movie, and I agree that he is the conscience of boxing right now. He is a magnificent ambassador.
Thank you.
But romance doesn't pay the undercard fighters. Historical weight doesn't fund the industry. The face of a business is the one driving the revenue model. Canelo's $125 million in purse money last year floats promoters, networks, undercard fighters, and venues.
That is true. He is an economic engine.
He is the engine that allows the rest of the sport to exist. You can't be the face of an industry if you aren't its primary breadwinner. Mastery without money is just a hobby.
But that assumes there is only one way to generate that money, and that brings us to a massive shift in how the sport operates today. We are looking at two entirely different models here. The traditional scarcity model versus the new era of streaming ubiquity.
Okay.
I want to look at Naoya Inoue's traditional model because it completely undermines the idea that you have to be a Western-facing, influencer-style star to drive the economy. When Inoue fought Junto Nakatani at the Tokyo Dome in May of 2026, he generated a massive $30 million live gate.
A staggering number for the lighter weights, no question.
It is unprecedented, and it generated 500,000 domestic pay-per-view buys just within Japan. What Inoue proves is that a regional face operating on a traditional scarcity model where fans pay a premium for a rare, high-stakes event can generate American-sized megafight revenue while maintaining the prestige and mystique of the sport.
But it's still regional.
But he extracts maximum value from a deeply dedicated, highly knowledgeable fan base. That is the traditional blueprint of a boxing superstar. You build scarcity, you build anticipation, and then you capitalize on it.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why.
All right.
That traditional blueprint you were talking about, it is a relic. Netflix has completely ended the era of scarcity, and we have to look at the mechanics of why that matters. You are praising Inoue for reaching 500,000 paying fans.
Which is a lot for a regional broadcast.
But Terrence Crawford reached 41 million viewers on Netflix. Jake Paul reached 108 million viewers. The pay-per-view model requires massive marketing spend to convince a small sliver of the population to part with $80. It creates an artificial ceiling.
I see your point.
Streaming platforms don't require the viewer to spend an extra dime. The friction is reduced to zero. We have shifted from a model of revenue maximization, squeezing hardcore fans, to reach maximization.
Right.
The sport has essentially become a loss leader for tech companies who just want to capture consumer data and concurrent streams. Therefore, the face of boxing today is whoever the algorithm and the global platforms elevate to the masses.
But I have to push back on that definition of reach because we have to ask what that reach actually accomplishes. Does reach equate to genuine representation of the sport?
I'd say yes.
Let me offer an analogy. If there is a car crash on the highway, traffic slows down because everyone looks. That's rubbernecking. Is a viral spectacle like Jake Paul fighting a legacy name truly the face of boxing? Or is it merely the equivalent of rubbernecking at a parade?
Well, rubbernecking still counts as eyeballs on the sponsor's logo. If 108 million people slow down to look, the highway billboard just became the most valuable piece of real estate in the world.
But does an audience of 108 million viewers tuning in for a spectacle actually care about the sport of boxing? Do they follow the ranking systems? Do they appreciate the footwork, the distance management, the ring generalship, the craft? Or do they just care about the celebrity?
Does it matter?
Yes. If your face is just a viral phenomenon, you aren't promoting the sport. You are promoting a sideshow that happens to use boxing gloves. You are diluting the product.
You are assuming that the purity of the audience matters to the health of the industry. And mathematically, it just doesn't. When 108 million people watch a boxing ring, the ecosystem inevitably grows. A percentage of those casual viewers stick around.
A very small percentage, maybe.
But Ryan Garcia is a perfect example of this mechanism in action. He leverages his 12.9 million Instagram followers to force massive fights. He brings in fans who couldn't care less about the traditional sanctioning bodies. They care about the narrative. They care about the drama.
Which he definitely provides.
Exactly. And that attention is what allowed him to command a base purse of over $5 million for his WBC super lightweight title fight against Mario Barrios. He is converting viral ubiquity into actual, tangible boxing power.
I will acknowledge that Garcia has successfully merged viral fame with athletic legitimacy, especially by capturing that WBC title against Barrios. It was a redemption arc that proved he isn't just an influencer.
Right?
But his leverage in Inoue's massive success in Japan brings up the geographical reality of boxing today. The sports infrastructure has permanently decentralized. A $30 million gate of the Tokyo Dome proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that you no longer need to speak English and you no longer need to conform to the American promotional machine in Nevada to be the center of the boxing universe.
Look, he is brilliantly successful, yes, but he is still a localized phenomenon. Industry analysts have been very clear on this point. To be the true, undisputed global face of the sport, Inoue must leave his comfort zone.
Why?
He needs to headline in Las Vegas. He needs to challenge the lions of the featherweight division, perhaps even coming in as the B-side in a foreign market to prove his crossover marketability. The gate at the Tokyo Dome was $30 million, yes, but compare that to Canelo and Crawford doing $47.2 million in Vegas.
It's still a massive number, though.
But the ceiling is still vastly higher in the established global hubs. You cannot be the global face of a sport if you only fight in your own backyard.
I completely disagree with the premise that Las Vegas is still the mandatory proving ground for a superstar. That is an outdated, Western-centric view of a sport that has truly become a global galaxy.
It's where the money is.
But we are seeing major title fights in London, in Tokyo, and critically, in Riyadh. And this is where we have to look at how sovereign wealth is fundamentally altering the mechanics of the sport.
Oh, absolutely.
Saudi Arabia's involvement, spearheaded by figures like Turki al-Sheikh, has bridged the gap between the purist dream and the pragmatist balance sheet. They don't rely on pay-per-view break-evens. They fund legacy fights outright.
Exactly. And that geopolitical shift is exactly why capital is the ultimate metric.
But look at what that capital is funding. It's funding the undisputed fights. It's funding Usyk. It's funding the purists' vision of the sport. Because of this sovereign wealth, fighters no longer have to bow to the Nevada State Athletic Commission or beg American television networks for a date.
That is a fair point.
You have British stars like Maza Satama and Hamza Shiraz pulling massive numbers in the UK and the Middle East. The floor has risen everywhere. Inoue is pulling historical capital entirely on his own terms. That is true sovereignty.
I don't disagree that the geography is expanding, and the influx of sovereign wealth is undeniably reshaping the matchmaking landscape. Rival promoters who used to hate each other are now co-promoting because the pie is simply too massive to ignore.
Right, it forces collaboration.
But the media machine that dictates global culture is still heavily centralized. When Crawford beats Canelo, he goes on a global press tour. He becomes a household name in markets that don't traditionally follow the lower weight classes.
Sure, he gets more general media play.
Right. Inoue is a god in Japan and a legend to boxing hardcores worldwide. But if you walk down a street in London or New York or Mexico City and ask a casual sports fan who Naoya Inoue is, you will get blank stares. If you ask them who Canelo is or who Jake Paul is, they know immediately.
So we are right back to the rubbernecking argument. You are defining the face by the lowest common denominator of casual recognition.
I am defining the face by the literal definition of a face. A face is what people recognize. If they don't recognize you, you aren't the face, no matter how flawless your pivot is, no matter how perfect your jab is, and no matter how many unified belts you hold. Visibility is the currency of the modern era.
But if the face doesn't represent the highest virtues of the sport, then the sport loses its identity entirely. If the face of boxing is just whoever has the most Instagram followers, then boxing is no longer a sport, it is just a subset of the influencer economy. It becomes content rather than competition.
That is the reality of 2026. Boxing is part of the influencer economy now. It is part of the streaming economy. Netflix didn't pay for Canelo and Crawford to preserve the sweet science.
No, they didn't.
They didn't fund it as a charity to boxing historians. They paid for it to capture millions of concurrent streams, to harvest user data, and to dominate the global cultural conversation for a weekend. The metrics of success have fundamentally changed.
This has been a truly illuminating exchange, and I think it's time we summarize our positions.
Sounds good.
From my perspective, the purist view remains the most vital for the long-term survival of the sport's credibility. Fighters like Naoya Inoue and Alexander Usyk are the faces of the history books. They represent athletic legacy, pound-for-pound mastery, and the kind of technical perfection that ensures the sport is respected as a legitimate, elite athletic endeavor rather than just a carnival attraction. They are proving that athletic sovereignty still holds immense value.
And my position is the pragmatist view. Boxing is and always has been driven by capital and reach. Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, and digital stars like Ryan Garcia and Jake Paul are the faces of the business.
The revenue drivers.
Exactly. They represent economic gravity, multi-million-dollar live gates, and the ability to leverage global streaming platforms to reach audiences that traditional boxing purists could only dream of. They are the engines keeping the lights on in arenas around the world.
Yet, despite our very different frameworks, I think we have arrived at a fascinating point of convergence today. We both seem to agree that the old Mayweather model, the era of a single central protagonist holding the entire sport on his shoulders, is completely dead.
Oh, absolutely. We are living in an era of a collective presidency. The sport is too vast, the distribution platforms are too varied, and the audiences are too segmented for one single person to rule them all.
It makes total sense.
You have different fighters ruling entirely different sectors. Inoue rules the technical sector and the Eastern Hemisphere. Canelo rules the economic sector and the Americas. Paul and Garcia rule the cultural and digital sector.
And perhaps, if we look even deeper into the source material, there is an entirely different conversation to be had about who's actually pulling the strings. We touched on the geopolitical shift, but the implications are staggering.
Right. The fact that non-athletes might actually be the true faces of the sport now. Saudi Arabia's Turki al-Sheikh, brokering peace between rival promoters, controlling massive fight budgets, and fundamentally reshaping the sport's infrastructure from the top down.
It's a whole new world.
By injecting sovereign wealth to override the traditional free market of pay-per-view, he is manufacturing legacy fights that previously would have been bogged down in years of negotiation. He might have more gravity than any fighter currently lacing up gloves.
That is a phenomenal point, and it suggests there is so much more to explore in the material regarding how sovereign wealth and centralized matchmaking are fundamentally altering the DNA of professional boxing.
It changes everything. When the promoter or the entity funding the promoter becomes larger and more influential than the prize fighter, the whole ecosystem flips on its head.
Indeed, it does. We will leave the ultimate conclusion up to the listener. Whether you believe the true face of boxing is crowned by athletic legacy and pound-for-pound supremacy, or by economic gravity and streaming reach, the data proves the sport has never been more complex.
Or more lucrative, if you know how to navigate it.
Very true. At the beginning of our discussion, I compared the boxing landscape to a solar system that has exploded into a multipolar galaxy. It seems that in mid-2026, the question isn't which single star burns the brightest, but rather which constellation you choose to navigate by. Thank you for joining us on The Debate.
Well, in my humble opinion, I just think it's Turkey out of sheep. He's the face of boxing. I mean, he's changed the landscape. But what do you think? What do you think about that? And anyway, what? Oh, man. They're going to run that funny commercial again? Now he's in charge of the Malcolm and Ella segment. And he has a commercial before and after this segment. Okay. Let's hear it again. Sonny Huff. Oh, my goodness. On the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
Hi, this is the legendary Hall of Famer, Sonny Huff. Listen up, champs. Whether you're stepping into the ring like Anthony Joshua or just trying to keep everything in place during your next training session, you need protection that can take a beating. That's why I'm here to tell you about the all-new Iron Cup Pro Jockstrap, the only jockstrap with heavyweight championship support. This bad boy is built like a tank. Triple reinforced pouch? Check. Sweat-wicking fabric that laughs at 12 rounds of heat? You bet. And the waistband? It's got more grip than Frank Bruno in his prime. No more slipping, sliding, or unexpected knockouts downstairs. I've seen fighters get dropped by body shots, but with the Iron Cup Pro, your most valuable assets stay protected from low blows, uppercuts, and those awkward gym moments when you're shadow boxing a little too enthusiastically. Fellow legends in the locker room are raving. Sonny, this thing held up better than my chin in the 10th round. Available in sizes from lightweight to super heavyweight, because some of us are carrying championship belts down there, too. So head to your nearest sporting goods store or visit IronCupPro.com right now and use promo code SonnyHuff for 20% off and a free pair of extra thick compression shorts. That's right, double the protection, double the swagger. If the legendary Hall of Famer Sonny Huff endorses a product, you know it's good.
Yeah, that's right. If he endorses it, it's good. But anyway, let's get to some music right now. I got to talk to Sonny Huff about some things. But anyway, right now, let's get to some music. And we're going to do, and I got to apologize. There's some buzzing in the background. I put something new on this computer, and I can tell it's causing a little buzz. I have to fix that. Right now, we're going to get to some music. Let's do, first of all, we'll do some, I think we'll do today, we're doing a little classical and hip-hop. And this is Jade Mystique, Wolfgang's Turnaround on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
beside my stove. I rolled up my sleeves, grabbed my poker tight, said, stand back, darling, we gon' burn all night. Keep on stoking till the fire roars. Keep on stoking till the fire roars. Keep on pushing, make them embers glow. Stir it up hotter and stoke some more. She got that good kindling, stack nice and neat. One little spark and we're feeling that heat. Blow on the coals, fan that flame high. We gon' make the chimney smoke up to the sky. Keep on stoking till the fire roars. Yeah, keep on stoking till the fire roars. Keep on pushing, make them embers glow. Stir it up hotter and stoke some more. Some more. Yeah! Don't stop stoking, baby.
All right, that was a Thai artist. His name is, well, he calls himself Mancini. A new one on this program, and he's from southern Thailand. And that was Keep My Embers on Fire. And it's he's a blues performer, and he calls himself Mancini. He said I couldn't pronounce his real name because he loves Boom Boom Mancini, the ex-fighter. I don't know, but anyway. And before that, we did Jade Mystique and Wolfgang's Turnaround, a little hip-hop and classical music and jazz on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. And we're getting ready to get out of here right now, make way for some other programs. But again, go in love and go in peace, as we always say. Do what you can to make this a better place. We're in this big blue ball together. And we have to do what we can to make it a better place, clean up your neighborhood, helping someone in need, whatever you can do. Do what you can. And you might hear in the background, there's selling watermelon in the background. I think I might go get some right now. The truck is going past here and got the window open. Anyway, it's Greg Rashid. If you have a request for music, author the interview, or fight, just drop me a line wherever you hear the program. And again, this is Greg Rashid. Go in love and go in peace. We'll see you next time on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Please become a member at patreon.com under the title Ringside Fantasy Fights and News. See you next time.